energy. Water resources, ladies and gentlemen, in the international community, they also categorize it as a renewable energy, but we categorize it separately. So if you include the water resources, and I've just mentioned the Indus Cascade, which we are going to, inshallah, harness. So we are looking at adding more than 18 to 20,000 megawatts of hydel resources as well to our energy mix. So taking it to almost 70%, add nuclear energy. We are going to ramp it up to 10%, add charcoal. So overall, we are looking at 70 to 80% of indigenous energy resources by the end of 2030, and a large portion of that will also be hydel resources. Another important factor in all this matrix, ladies and gentlemen, when we talk about hydel resources, it is not just the flood irrigation system that we've been used to. The world has moved on. We have to make sure that this resource is jealously guarded and used. We are already finalizing plans with WAPTA. Shah Sahab knows about it. I've spoken to General Muzammal, and we'll be soon, inshallah, the PC1 is almost ready, of putting floating solar panels on Tarbela Dam, putting floating solar panels on Mangla Dam and on Ghazi Barotha, as well as Khanpur Dam. So all these large water reservoirs, we already have a grid station, so the floating solar panels is going to do two things: reduce evaporation, reduce water wastage, increase cheap energy. In addition to that, along the canals in Punjab, they're also using their canals. We are in coordination with the Energy Ministry of Punjab that they should put solar panels on their canals so that their lift irrigation systems can be run off the solar grid. And the rate of decrease in the energy of renewable energy, we used to be talking about 12 cents, 13 cents a couple of years ago. Ladies and gentlemen, it's come down to as low. The established rate today is less than 4.25 cents, and it is going down day by day. And with the new renewable energy policy, we'll have competitive bidding for all the new energy projects. So you will have a downward sloping curve of energy projects coming in. What does that mean for water resources? When we talk about Balochistan, ladies and gentlemen, over there are 29,000 tube wells that are being run. This was an old Asian Development Bank scheme funded with the government of Pakistan and the government of Balochistan and the Asian Development Bank. Unfortunately, what is happening is that with the rate of pumping of this precious resource of the sweet water, they have now resorted to water mining. So we are switching this resource. We are mapping out all 29,000 tube wells. We are mapping it out and converting it to solar, but with one other additional caveat we are putting in, that once they are converted to solar, we'll again it's going to be a catch-22 situation. You have a more cheaper energy source with which to pump out the resource and do flood irrigation. No, there has to be a mitigation of risk of depleting this resource. How? By creating a reservoir system that if this resource is taken out, you store it in such a way that through the porosity of the soil, it goes back into the subsoil. We store it and then also promote agricultural techniques that basically are environment friendly, that are number two, efficient in terms of water efficiency, and our experts are working on that. So there has to be a paradigm shift, ladies and gentlemen, towards our food security. And I'm not just talking about our 4 major crops. When I was in the Ministry of Finance, and even today in the ECC meetings, we look at the erratic increase or decrease of cropping patterns of vegetables, of other food items. And why? Because our storage capacities are not there. The cold chains have to be built up. Your buffering of these products has to be there. So newer techniques, food chains, all linked at the end of the day to water. So the availability of water is so essential that there's a map in my room, in my office, ladies and gentlemen, and it shows the distribution system of all our 132.11 kVA network. And you can tell, just as if you open a Google Earth at night and you look at Pakistan's map, you will see that where is the population concentrated? It's a Y. And why is it? And I mean the letter Y, not WHY. And it's a Y because all our population, 200 million people, are concentrated along our 5 rivers and then along the Indus itself. And our lighting pattern suggests that, and our distribution system suggests that. Why is it not in the middle of a desert? Because life is essential, water is essentially life, ladies and gentlemen. Same is the case with the Nile Delta. Same is the case with the Euphrates. Same is the case with the Tigris. Same is the case with India, with the Ganga, the Brahmaputra, all these rivers. So basically, ladies and gentlemen, we have to look, and if we look at cultivating our deserts, if we have to convert our deserts, which is the future for us, we have to make sure that this precious resource is used economically, it's used efficiently, with investments in science and technology, not just by creating large reservoirs and just doing flood irrigation. No, we have to make sure that we use it diligently, very studiously, and only then, at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, can we come up with a plan which is integrated. The Ministry of Water Resources, the Ministry of Energy, the Ministry of Food, the Ministry of National Food Security, and most of all, ladies and gentlemen, after the 18th Amendment, the provinces, the onus comes onto the provinces itself. The irrigation departments, the water and sanitation departments, what we need to do with that as well. We have to salvage, recycle, look at every ounce of water that we are using, so that whatever goes out into the Arabian Sea, it is just enough to check the river, the Arabian Sea, from encroaching up from Kotri upwards. The flow of the water is just enough to check the saline water coming upstream. But more than that, we need to harness our resources, because today, ladies and gentlemen, our water reservoirs are fast depleting and we don't have enough of a reserve parachute. You look at some of the countries, and the experts will give you examples, the United States, with more than, I think, 2 to 3 years of water resources in storage over there. We are nowhere close. So keeping this thing in mind, our water economy, at the end of the day, is going to drive our energy economy, ladies and gentlemen. It will drive our food economy, our food security. It will drive the prosperity of our nation. This resource is of paramount importance to all of us. So at the end of this brief talk, I would just like to also mention, Rana Saab mentioned India. I think I would just like to say that if India tries to meddle in any way with the Indus Basin Treaty or using water as a weapon, the answer from Pakistan will be swift. The answer from Pakistan, ladies and gentlemen, these are treaties that they have signed on, and Pakistan will defend its sovereignty at every level. India got a taste of it when it had the Pulwama hoax, and when their Air Force did a false flag operation or a bogus operation in Balakot. They came and encroached upon the territorial integrity of Pakistan. The very next day, our valiant fighter pilots, they shot down 2 Indian aircraft, and the response to India, the message was loud and clear, that you cannot get away by encroaching on the territorial integrity of Pakistan. Our armed forces and the people of Pakistan have proved it again and again and again. So the message to India is loud and clear. And on the Kashmir issue, let me just say, because at the end of the day, I am a political worker of the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, and on this issue, the nation of Pakistan, every single person, man, woman, child, everyone is united that the atrocities being committed by India in Kashmir are unacceptable. The world has to rise up and denounce it and put a stop to the atrocities in Indian-held Kashmir.